Hi, and welcome to the Owatonna Today Show. Thanks so much for joining us right here on Charter Channel 8, where you can see us 6 days a week. If for some reason you're off or running around doing summery things, we'd love for you to join us on the internet, where you can find us on YouTube, where we have our own channel, Owatonna Today Show. You can also find us on Facebook, like us there, and Leanne will upload the most recent episode. And also on the web page that is the Third Hand Videos video.com. That's Leanne's page for her company, and there's a whole tab for us, so you can go back and see all sorts of archive shows, maybe catch up on some things. But we're always looking for new ideas. If you have something that you'd like to see right here on the show, you've got an event coming up this summer, let us know. You can contact us at owatonnatoday@charter.net. You can also call Leanne Alt. She's at 390-5751. Let us know what you have going on in your area, and we'll see what we can do to get you on the air. I like today is a great show. If you've it's middle of summer, maybe you've run out of things to do, you're not sure what to do next, you got some time with the kids, well, why not head over to the Big Wood State Park, or there's been a whole prairie restoration. So stick with us. We're going to talk about those and give you some ideas for summertime. See you in a minute.
Hi, I'm Dr. Beth Giltvet.
And I'm Dr. Nick Vincelli of Horizon Eye Care.
We want you to see what you love and love how you see. We're proud sponsors of the Owatonna Today Show.
I needed more than just another dead-end job. I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
With the kids off to college, I decided it was time for me to go back to work and express myself.
Express got me in touch with some really great companies. Now I'm on my way to a great career.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
It's Leanne on the go for the Owatonna Today Show. I'm out here at Rice Lake State Park in one of their prairie areas. In today's show, we will be going to Kester Prairie in Rice County. It's a restored prairie that a farm family has been working on for the last couple of years. We will be joined by Emily Hutchins for the Minnesota DNR and Barbara Breaker, who works at the Carleton College Arboretum. So let's go to Kester Prairie.
It's fun to be able to show off what we're doing, although it's still fairly early in the restoration process. My siblings and I, let's see, Paul is over there and Todd is over there. We grew up across the way in the house there. We no longer own that, but we still own the land over here. Our family does. Our grandparents acquired the grassland over here back in the late 1930s. The area on the north half of the grassland, like the north 130 acres or so of grassland here, the steeper parts have never been plowed. And there was a little bit of light cultivation and some flatter spots at the top, all pre-herbicide though. And then the southern part of it was cultivated some in the early 20th century. When my grandfather got it in like 1938 or so, there was wanted to preserve the whole thing for pasture, and so it's been grazed ever since the late 1930s, the whole thing. There was some brome grass and timothy and stuff, forage grasses that were seeded in over that period. So for the last, from like 1938 on till 1999 or so, it was fairly heavily grazed. And we didn't have any idea what we had out there in terms of native species and whatnot. Our parents died late 90s. There was a little bit of light grazing with some neighbors and a cousin of ours, but then after a while the grazing kind of fell off and we needed to figure out what to do with it. Gene Bauer, who is at Carleton College, avid birder, had been birding out here since the 1990s, and he gave me, contacted me and said, hey, what's happening with that property? It's one of the best bird areas in the county, if not the best in the county. And he put me in touch with some people with the DNR who started doing plant surveys out there. They found some really great pockets of native species, and one thing led to another. And so over the last couple of years, we've worked to put an easement, a conservation easement on the northern part, which has got the best native prairie, and still trying to figure out how to preserve the southern half for conservation as well. But right now there's about 250 acres of unbroken grassland here with some really, the best native prairie on the northern part, and then seeded over stuff on the south. But Emily will talk some about the management stuff that we've been doing, but we're delighted that we're making this kind of progress for conservation.
I handed out a few maps. Please look on with someone else if you don't have a map. You'll see we have broken up the property into, I think it was A, B, C, D, E, 5 different units. That's mainly for management purposes, and so we've conducted some prescribed burns already. Last year we burned A, B, those are the two. There's a small island here, a small island out in the field here, and then A, B, and D, I think, on the eastern portion, that long arm that sticks out. You'll see area C is highlighted in yellow. That's what we just had burned this year, which is right out here in front of us. So we're also doing quite a bit of invasive species work. Once the cattle were pulled off, and that was the landowner's decision to not have it grazed anymore. But grazing certainly can be part of a management regime. Decided to pull the cattle off, and then we did see kind of a flush of invasive species, so we're managing those now with mowing and some herbicide application. Some of the biggest issues are the wild parsnip. It's really, we've been right on top of it, but it just seems every year there's more and more seed germinating, especially after the burn. We're also managing, there's some Queen Anne's lace. It's also called wild carrot. There are some thistle patches. A lot of the thistle here is actually native thistle, so there's not a whole lot of Canada thistle, which is the biggest problem in our thistles. But so pretty restricted Canada thistle. Small amounts of sweet clover, which compared to the other ones is not a real huge concern, but it can spread. Anything else?
No, I'm eager to. We had a crew out here working all week on wild parsnip, so I'm hoping to see virtually
nothing. Up the hill here to the Kester Prairie. There's quite a number of people that have joined us today. It's kind of hot and muggy. We all have water, sunscreen, long pants, and hats. There's a nice population of milkweed here growing on the hillside. Milkweed is very beneficial to monarch butterflies. They lay their eggs. When the eggs hatch, the caterpillars eat the milkweed before then they go into forming their chrysalis.
Porcupine grass, or sometimes called needle and thread grass. Because this was burned this year, there's no seed heads on it. This is one of our, they're called cool season grasses because they do most of their growing in the early part of the year when it's cooler. So a lot of our non-native grasses like brome and timothy are also cool season grasses, but there's a few group of native grasses that are cool season. And it's got kind of coarse leaves if you feel it, and the seed head has a very big seed and a long structure on it called an awn, and it often, people complain about it because it kind of works its way into your socks or into the mouths of cattle or dogs or whatever, but it's really a beautiful grass. The seed head will be really high on a long stalk up here, and it has this mechanism to actually plant itself. It falls into the ground near its mother plant, and this long awn takes up water and gives off water as the humidity changes, and it twists and it drills itself down into the ground. So it's just a really fascinating mechanism for replanting itself. their vegetation is really prickly or for other reasons do really well under a grazing situation. It's considered kind of an unusual plant or a little rarer in prairies that are not grazed because it doesn't do as well with a lot of competition. So the botanical name, which I am still using the old botanical name because I can't remember what the botanist changed it to, Anismodium mole. What's its common name?
Marble seed,
marble seed
or false cromwell.
So come on over and feel it. It's really stiff and has a lot of hairs on it. And so the cattle just do not like to eat it. So it really tends to increase. And these are the flowering stalks from last year. And in each of those little bracts would have been a white seed, which is really, really hard. So that's how it got the name marble seed.
And they're pretty big and round, too.
You do get a very good view up here on this Kester Prairie step of the surrounding countryside here in Rice County. This is what the top of the prairie looks like. It was burned in May. They do a burn off to help germinate more seeds, to get rid of some of the small shrubs that you see in the distance from growing. So the grasses aren't quite as tall as they normally would be. It's a beautiful sight.
So Delphinium is the genus, and you can see this one is in seed. It almost looks like a columbine seed. And this one is in flower. Normally they would be blooming much earlier than this, but because of the burn, many things are in the burn unit are blooming later than usual.
Yeah, that one is usually done by now.
And it's called larkspur? Prairie larkspur.
Like a delphinium, if you go to the flower shop, they'll have delphiniums that are dark purple. This is like a native
really
version.
big.
Yeah.
But I see there's more over there. There's another one over there. There's quite a bit.
This prairie plant that you're looking at right now is called fragrant bedstraw. And people would actually pick not this type of bedstraw, but other larger bedstraw and use them to stuff mattresses and pillows. There's a very nice fragrance. Here's another view of this partially restored prairie grassland. If you hear that little zit, zit in the background, that's a grasshopper sparrow. He's right here in this bush. Don't know if you'll be able to see him too well. There he is. It's a bird that nests here in the prairie. He's collecting food, so he has babies somewhere. Here's a great collection of a prairie flower. This is called prairie vervain. The flowers come up on a stalk. And there's a lot of this intersprinkled here in this particular prairie. This is a great little prairie plant. You find it throughout most of southern Minnesota and up into central Minnesota. It is called wild bergamot. And it's really reminiscent of, the way the petals are reminiscent of flowers that people have in their garden referred to as, well, my mom used to call them Raggedy Ann. I hope you enjoyed those snippets from the Kester Prairie tour. When we come back from break, we'll be heading out to Nerstrand Big Woods State Park. Please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Rick Smith, Golf Course Superintendent of the Brooktree Golf Course. Brooktree is an 18-hole championship golf course featuring well-manicured greens, tees, and fairways. We are open to the public. I challenge you to find a better maintained golf course for the money we charge here at Brooktree. Come on out and play Brooktree, a great golf course.
Everyone deserves opportunities to have a good life, a quality education that leads to a stable job, enough income to support a family through retirement, and good health. But the reality is, many children fall behind, many families are struggling, and many others are in poor health. United Way's goal is to find long-term solutions. Thanks to a grant from the Otto Bremer Foundation, we're hosting community conversations this year to address these issues. If you'd like to join us, please call our office.
Hi, I am Dr. Amy Swain from Amy Swain Hearing Centers, and for more than 20 years I have been helping people hear better. It has been a very rewarding experience, but so many people put off getting help with their hearing. Clients often tell me they wish they had started wearing hearing aids sooner, as their quality of life was improved so much with better hearing. Call me today at 1-800-804-3361 for a free hearing test at Amy Swain Hearing Centers of Owatonna, Austin, and Waseca. That's 1-800-804-3361, where Dr. Amy Swain wants everyone to hear better.
Hi, I'm Brenda with the Mortgage Office of Brenda Bednar, aligned with American Mortgage and Equity Consultants, where closings feel right from the beginning. I'm a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hello, I'm Sean McNulty. And I'm Deb Gillard with Brookdale Senior Living, Sterling House, and Clarebridge of Owatonna. And we are a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, I'm Ron Clancher with Clancher & Son Landscaping and Concrete. We support the Owatonna Today Show, and so should you.
It's Leanne on the go for the Owatonna Today Show, and as part of our summer series of taking you to places close by and far away, I thought I'd take you to a state park that maybe you haven't been to before. It's called Nerstrand Big Woods State Park, and it's really only a little more than 30 miles away from Owatonna. It's a great park, great drive to it, especially if you take the back roads. You take the back roads out of Faribault. And actually this state park is one that is the remnants of the Big Woods. And the Big Woods covered a portion of the southern part of the state of Minnesota. And a lot of it was cleared to make way for the farm fields that we see today. There's a lot of things to see and do here in Nerstrand Big Woods State Park, so let's take a look. The park itself was established by the state legislature in around 1945. As it is with many state parks, a group of citizens got together to preserve this remnant of the Big Woods that was still left in the state of Minnesota at that time. We thank them for their diligent work and their forethought in saving this gem of a state park in southern Minnesota. The park is open year-round and has multi-uses, as you can see here from the sign. Hiking in the summer, cross-country skiing in the winter. Big Woods State Park has a large picnic area, easily accessible from the parking lot. It's a great place to share a lunch with friends. Nice wide expanse. Nerstrand Big Woods State Park has a campground. It has 52 campsites, some electric, some non-electric. The nice thing about this campground that most state park campgrounds do not have is that there are water hookups for each of the electric sites. Big Woods State Park is given its name because the trees that you see here in the park are part of the last remnants of the Big Woods that stretched around this part of Minnesota. You have a lot of basswood, a lot of maple trees, and this park is beautiful in the fall for fall color. Ironwood trees, all trees that you would see in the Big Woods. They're very tall, provide a lot of canopy, and then down on the forest floor, in the springtime you see many, many different kinds of wildflowers. And we'll show you some of those wildflowers right now that you would see here in the spring. The park has a number of hiking trails within it. Most of them are not too long, loops of a mile to maybe a mile and a half. Topography can be, in certain areas of the park, quite hilly though. So make sure when you come here to do some hiking that you wear some sturdy shoes. These trails are not amenable to flip-flops. One of the great features of Bigwood State Park is this great waterfall here coming off of Prairie Creek. The waterfall runs over bedrock limestone, and over the years the waterfall has retreated as the limestone erodes and breaks off into the creek, as you can see here. We're downstream a ways from the falls itself, and you can see all of the broken pieces of limestone. Eons ago, this was actually a shallow ocean, and the sediment and the pressure created the limestone topography that you see here today at the Bigwood State Park outside of Nerstrand. Here's a different perspective of the falls from up above. And the bottom of Prairie Creek itself, at least up here, is all limestone. A little bit of sand mixed in. Makes a beautiful pattern. Taking some video of a redstart warbler who is feeding a nestling cowbird. Cowbirds are parasitic birds. They lay their eggs in other birds' nests. They let the other birds incubate and hatch the eggs, and then those poor birds that are the parents have to feed the cowbirds. And look at this difference in size between the cowbird and the redstart warbler. It's amazing. This poor redstart warbler's been working his little tail feathers off. Here we go. Here's a picture talking about the brown-headed cowbirds, the parasitic birds. If you look at the nest on the right, you'll see two light blue brown speckled eggs and then a smaller egg next to it. What the cowbird will do is come to a nest where the parent isn't, and will throw out one of the eggs or a couple of the eggs of the host bird and then lay their own. And as you could see in the case of the American redstart, the cowbird baby grows a lot faster than the redstart babies, and then the parents have to spend all of their time, because he's bigger and stronger and more demanding, the parents spend all of their time feeding the cowbird baby, and their babies pass away from lack of food and attention. One of the birds that you'll see here in the state park is this red-headed woodpecker. We'll pull out just a little bit. Red-headed woodpeckers used to be quite abundant in southern Minnesota, and now you don't see them as often. That's because of their loss of habitat. They're cavity nesters in dead trees. And you know, for a long, long time, a lot of our telephone poles were wooden. Now they're slowly being replaced with metal poles. So they've really declined in numbers, at least in this part of the state. So it's really a rare treat to see a red-headed woodpecker. And the best part at the end of the day at the state park is a campfire. We hope you've enjoyed your tour of Nerstrand Bigwood State Park. Thanks for coming along on the trip.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Jake with Napa Auto Parts.
Napa has the know-how for all your automotive needs.
Napa is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hello, my name is Katie Marshall. A year ago, my family and I became homeless. We were scared and alone. Today, with the help of Steele County Transitional Housing and generous donors like you, my family and I are safely housed. I am working, going to college, paying my rent on time. My children have a warm bed to sleep in every night. My family and I are so grateful for this second chance. Please help others in need by donating to transitional housing today. Everyone deserves a safe place to live.
And now it's time to take a look at some community service announcements, opportunities for you to do more things throughout the summer, just like the 2 we gave you right then. We want to, remind you that it is our 4 days of fun right here in Owatonna coming up this Thursday with a kids events in Central Park, starting with at 9:30, the Kitty Parade. Also, there is the Crazy Days sidewalk sale Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. On Friday, though, they will also be having their street dance as well as a barbecue that starts at 5:30 and live music by Johnny Bird and Tomcat. On Saturday, there's a farmer's market that's going to be pulled right into the rest of the fun right there on Main Street. So make sure you get out and enjoy. It's a great time to kind of connect with some of your neighbors and friends and just have a good time. Also want to remind you about the Professional and Personal Women's Growth Conference coming up Thursday, July 31st. It's sponsored by Kent Pillsbury. It's a great opportunity for women to get together and kind of hone those skills they already have and work together to create new ones as well. Thanks so much for joining us today. Make sure you check with us on Friday when we talk about the Festival of Trees as well as a Bremer Bank United Way update. We'll see you then.